Our special keynote speaker, Mr. Charlie Morrison, it is my honor to introduce, the CEO of Wingstop, is here to share how Wingstop managed the impact of the pandemic and remained profitable. Charlie is an industry veteran. He has, for the more than 25 years of experience with various companies, including Pizza Hut, Steak and Ale restaurants, Kinko's, and Boston Market. He joined Wingstop in June 2012. By June 2015, he led Wingstop in the completion of the initial public offering, listing the company, which has been noted as the most successful IPO in the history of the restaurant industry. Charlie is a recipient of distinguished restaurant industry awards, including the 2015 Golden Chain Award and the 2016 Silver Plate Award. Mr. Morrison serves on the Board of Trustees of Kansas State University Foundation and as well on the Dean's Advisory Board for the College of Business at the KSU, his alma mater. He also serves as a board chair of Cristo Rey Fort Worth High School, which means he's involved with the children also. Welcome, Mr. Morrison. And accompanying Charlie in this conversation is my friend, our board member and a past chairman of the chamber, Sanjeev Khanna. Sanjeev manages a portfolio of equity investments for multiple businesses under the GS Dallas Group. The group chiefly deals with franchises and is one of the country's largest franchises for Subway, Wingstop, Massage Envy, European Wax Centers, and also is a franchisor at Marriott, among others. Sanjeev, whether it is paperwork he handles and or his clothes, is so meticulous that I can not even ever find fault with him. So his wife told me. This is not me saying. And she continued, he has only recently started doing what someone instructs him to do. Otherwise, he's not like that. And that person is his granddaughter who can hold his finger and march him anywhere she wants. He bows with love and humility to her. Without further delay, Sanjeev and Charlie, we are eager to hear from the two of you. Sanjeev, thank you. Thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you, Sunilji. Well, given that I'm going to be within the dinner and here, we'll get just right to the business here. So, Charlie, thank you very much for being here. You're coming directly from San Antonio from a Wingstop Brand Partners Conference for the last few days. And we really appreciate you taking the time to join us for Banquet and making time to speak to our members and community at large. There are so many business people and entrepreneurs here who would like to listen from you. So welcome here.
Thank you very much. It is an honor to be here. And as Sanjeev said, we did just come from our annual brand partner, whom we affectionately call our franchisees, our brand partners, and for good reason. One thing I'd like to note is at this annual convention, we were all together just as all of you are here tonight for the first time in a long time. And it's my honor to tell you that Sanjeev and his partners at GSR Wings were our brand partner of the year. So please recognize Sanjeev for his accomplishment.
Thank you, thank you. Charlie, you took me to NASDAQ back in 2015. Just about 3 years you went to the company. And it was an honor to be with you ringing the bell when you rang the bell at NASDAQ. From that, the stock price that day that opened was $19. Today we are sitting at $170. And you took a $500 million enterprise to about $5 billion. What impressive growth trajectory. So I think we all would like to know, what's the magic of turning a $500 million company to a $5 billion company?
Well, we were blessed with a great brand that started here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area about 27 years ago at Wingstop. And the beauty of this brand lies in the product that we sell It's chicken wings. It's a very simple product. People love them. They crave them. The flavors are amazing. They've stood the test of time. We also have some of the best franchisees, if not the best franchisees in the business. The combination of the two made it a very attractive opportunity to join Wingstop, lead a great team with our great brand partners, and grow this company for many years. And so if you think about what we experienced at the time of the IPO, we were in a class all by ourselves. We don't have a direct competitor. We did not have a challenge for growth. In fact, we had a huge opportunity for growth because chicken, as we know, is the #1 consumed protein in the entire world. And we knew that Wingstop had the great potential to grow well beyond that. The last is our economic model. Our franchisees, our brand partners, enjoy one of the most attractive economic models in the industry. It's a simple operation, and the returns have been great. That fuels growth and consistent, predictable growth. And just to give you a simple metric of the kind of growth we've seen, unheard of, 18 consecutive years this brand has experienced positive same-store sales growth. All of that was great fuel for a wonderful IPO.
Thank you. But the most interesting part was there. In the last 6 years we have been public, not only you kept the investors happy, you kept so-called franchisees happy. And I have been franchisee of many brands. It's very hard to keep franchisees happy. And there's a reason you call us brand partners. Would you elaborate that? What is Wingstop does differently than the other people?
Sure. I've never experienced unhappy franchisees. I don't know about the rest of you, but it does happen from time to time. The concept of a brand partner is not that we partner in the business. The profits are benefited to our brand partners, our franchisees. But the key here is the success of the relationship. And I learned very early on in my career in franchising that it was most important to develop good, candid, transparent relationships with your customers. And in this case, our customers are our brand partners, our franchisees. They take care of their customers, and it's our job to make sure that we support them through and through. I've dealt with contentious relationships in the past, and it always seems to fit that if you're just honest and open and provide a candid dialogue with your partners, it's going to work to everybody's benefit. Their return on investment is how we are successful. And if you take that mindset to work every day, it yields successful and happy relationships most of the time.
And you said it right. That's some course I had done a long time ago, Ehack. Everybody has a customer. So you definitely do treat us as a customer, as a partner, which I would say. But over the last 18 months, we have seen an unprecedented disruption in our economy as a result of COVID-19, as Ambassador Sudhakar mentioned. Sunil ji elaborated that as well. But and hospitality is one of the one which is significantly impacted. So as a leader of this multi-billion-dollar enterprise that not only survived, but thrived during the pandemic, how have you been able to achieve that, and how do you view the current state of economy?
Well, I mentioned at the beginning of our conference this last week that in business school, they don't have a class that teaches you on what to do when a pandemic erupts. And so there's a lot of work to be done. But I think there were a couple of factors that enabled our success as a company. The first was the culture of the organization. The people, our brand partners, the good relationships Sanjeev just mentioned, had a lot to do with our ability to communicate and act quickly. We also made great investments early on in the game for our brand in the digital and technology space. We retrofit the entire brand with the technology stack that enabled digital ordering, and we were quickly advancing this. And with our partnership with our franchisees, those aren't easy things to sell in. It's very capital intensive and very difficult to do. But we were able to get that done, and right as the pandemic set in, we had just launched delivery with our partner at DoorDash. And we integrated that throughout the entire network to make it seamless so that the guest experience was great. As soon as the pandemic erupted, we shut down in March of 2020. We were immediately able to pivot our business, close our dining rooms, and make them available for delivery transactions, which grew our business. As it relates to the second part of your question, it's challenging right now. I have optimism that things are going to get better. We're starting to see that happen, certainly as we're all sitting here tonight. But the situation has changed completely from our success in 2020 to now the challenges that affect us in the supply chain, the labor markets. It's very hard to hire people in our industry. They're moving on to other opportunities that provide flexibility. So it's been difficult. So I'm both optimistic that we're going to be able to weather this storm as an industry and navigate through it and be better. But at the same time, we're dealing with some real challenges in the economy right now.
Yeah, and you're right. Nobody was teaching us at the school as well. But you did have some vision as a leader who was able to see how important the delivery would be. It just happened to be the right time for us to take care of our customers when nobody could even go for dine-in. But now the challenges as our labor markets as well, which are all turned upside down. No matter where you see, help sign wanted, flexible hours, sign-on bonus. What do you think is causing these issues or these shortages, and what is the solution?
Well, we've both been in hospitality for many, many years, and we both understand that it creates an incredible career path for people to grow, and that's always been what we've expected. In this world today, we see the labor shortages are real. The amount of true employees available to work is down considerably, even though we see unemployment levels that appear to be low. The challenge we see at Wingstop, I know you do in your own restaurants, centers on people who don't want to work in the restaurants for the shifts that they historically have done. They want flexibility, and that in many cases exceeds even income or pay in terms of how they want to live their life. And so this new gig economy happens to be the #1 source of where employees in our restaurants and our hotels and other hospitality industries players are going. And so they're finding flexibility, they're finding good wages, and so it's our time to now compete. And I think our challenge in front of us is that we're going to have to adapt to that, which we will, but recognize that not only is it going to be about the opportunity just to have the job, but it's the purpose of the organization, what it means to them, and also the ability to provide that flexibility, which, as we both know, is very difficult to do in hospitality, but we'll find a way.
And this is not only to hospitality also. Like I hear the same thing, whether it is an IT group or hospitals or something. So the signs are posted all over the place. It's just like the chain is moving differently. But definitely you just said automation is one going to be a solution. But I think is there a chance that economy is heating up further too much that the workforce is short naturally now?
Well, I think certainly the economy is heated up immensely. There is more personal savings out there now than we've ever seen. People are spending money at an incredible rate, as we've seen. So demand is very high. The shortage of workers, not only in our restaurants, but throughout the supply chains, is having a material impact on so many industries. And I know all of us understand that here in this room. But it's making it very difficult. I think this has to find a balance at some point. It may take some time to get there.
And these supply chains also, that are totally disrupted at times as well. All the commodity prices increase, especially the chicken price. Chicken wing prices, they kind of skyrocketed as well. So do you see them easing anytime soon, or what is the expectation for all these supply chain issues that we are facing?
Yeah, chicken wing prices are probably as high as I know we've ever seen them. To give you perspective, the average we usually pay is about $1.60 to $1.70 a pound over the years. It's been as high as $3.22 a pound, almost twice what it could be. Our food cost has grown to as much as 45 or 50% of our sales, which is unheard of in restaurants. And yet we're continuing to grow, which is great. So we have the demand, we need the commodity costs to come down. I do see that as companies are adapting to the challenge of the labor market, they're starting to recognize what they need to do to attract and retain workers. That's starting to fill up the plants. So the chicken companies are struggling as well because they can't get people to come in and actually process the chicken. The trucking industry has been hit very, very hard. It's very hard to find, and it's a good job to be a trucker, but it's very hard to find people who want to go in that industry. Huge bonuses are being paid by distributors and others to support that. And then if you factor that all into just getting the food to the restaurants and where we need it to be, it's going to take time. We have to get people back to work. I understand the necessity at a fair wage, but we also have to adapt, as I mentioned before, to get people to come back into these jobs that are so important to all of us, especially to address this demand.
And it sounded me strange when I looked at it, how much a trucker can make. And if I had graduated at this time as a mechanical engineer, I would be paid less than that. So it's definitely upside down in many spaces. But what was the biggest challenge Wingstop faced during this pandemic, and how did you overcome it? Any permanent or some changes you were able to make within the corporation as a franchisor and with our brand partners as well?
Yeah, well, our reliance on technology has been critical for us. So prior to the pandemic, we averaged about 30% of our sales off-premise digitally. Now that's grown to over 60% of our sales, and we expect that to continue to grow. So we'll continue to invest in technology that supports our brand and our brand partners, and it's what our customers want. We're making adjustments in the supply chain as we speak. During our conference this week, we talked at length about the importance of adapting our business to where the world is going. We're talking about vertical integration strategies, getting closer to the industry that we need for chicken, and understanding how we can take more control of the supply chain rather than less. And from a labor perspective, our business is quite efficient. It only takes about 4 people, maybe 5, to run a Wingstop on a given shift. But even then, it's hard to find them. So we're looking at strategies on labor that we can leverage to make flexibility a key, and also making sure that we're paying a fair wage, but recognizing our purpose as a brand.
And what would be you most optimistic about now that it seems we are coming out of pandemic? When I see around, not many people are wearing masks, so I can definitely say we are coming out. So what are you right now seeing those changes?
Well, we re-entered our offices recently. We just built a new headquarters right over here in Addison, not too far away. And it's nice to have people back. And I do believe that having us all together, not just on Zoom calls, but having people together, sharing about what's going on in the business world, in our lives and everything, is going to be very valuable for us long term. I think we saw this with our brand partner meeting recently. We've been trying to communicate as best we can, but when we had everybody together, I think that's going to fuel creativity, better thinking. It's going to help us grow our business. And I also think we're recognizing we have to adapt to all that we went through over the last 18 months. We've recognized the challenges socially that we see in our world today, and we have to address those. We're doing those at Wingstop. And I hope that all businesses are paying careful attention to that, because I think it's where the world is heading.
And then we have a lot of people in audience, our members or who are entrepreneurs as well. They may like to know how to invest in a Wingstop franchise. Will you just provide a high level in terms of typical investment, returns, etc., for a single franchise?
Sure, and I'll put an asterisk on 2021 if I can, but if we look over time in the history of the brand, our investment economics have been very, very attractive, as attractive as any in the industry. To build a restaurant out and put it in the ground costs about $400,000. Today, our average unit volume for a restaurant is about $1.6 million, and we do it all out of about a 1,700 square foot site. That generates cash-on-cash returns historically for our franchisees of upwards of 50% plus. And so they are some of the best investment economics in the industry, and why folks like Sanjeev and others have been so wildly successful with us.
Thank you. And what is the international plan for Wingstop, and when can we hope to see the first Wingstop restaurant in India?
Well, I plan to hopefully have a conversation at the table over here a little later, because it looks like it's an attractive time to be there. We have an international business in 10 countries around the world. We're in Central America, Mexico being our largest market, Western Europe. We're also in Southeast Asia and in the Middle East. And so we do expect to ultimately be in India. We believe the brand has the potential for as many as 6,000 locations, of which 3,000 of those would be overseas. Today, we only have 200 restaurants in these countries we're in, so we're very early in the stages today. So we're very interested in finding ways to emerge in key markets, India obviously being one of those.
Oh, definitely. As the demographics were told, like there's a lot of opportunity, and lots of attention is towards Asia anyways, especially India. Is there anything else you would like to add or to share with our audience?
No, look, I think it's a challenging time right now, and all of us have to adapt. I think that's the key word and message, and all of us need to make sure that we understand the purpose within our organizations, especially if you're in the hospitality business. I think it's important because that's where the world is going. It's critical that we address it.
So the last question. What is the best piece of advice you have gotten, personal or business, that you can share with us?
Let me give you one of both. I think on the business front, I always like to read, and there are certain authors out there that I've focused in on, and one in particular developed the concept for business leaders about choosing clarity over certainty. And I use this as an opportunity with my team to talk about decision making and the importance of making decisions and not making decisions. When you choose clarity, you have most of the information in front of you, but you're going to have to trust your gut and make the right call. Choosing certainty puts you in a position of overanalysis, and it can actually hold businesses back. I've taken that approach, and I've taught that in as well to other leaders in our organization as a way to stay ahead. And I think the concept of clarity was important for us as we developed technology well ahead of the curve, and of course it benefited our organization. On a personal level, I always look to my beautiful wife, Debbie, who keeps me grounded, and I think she's always told me that be you, always stay you, no matter what situation you're in, and stay humble and be yourself. And I can assure you she keeps me right there as best we can every day.
Thank you, Charlie. You are a true leader in the Wingstop. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it a big hand to Charlie.